Welcome back to another episode of 40 Facts About the 40K Universe. I am your host, Gershwin, and you are watching One Mind Syndicate. Today we continue talking about the Imperium/Chaos as we get into the mutant cults that exist in the Underhives. These are the Untouchables. These are the individuals that are shunned by most of the Imperium. Most of them are chaotic in nature, but some are not. So we're going to be going over their mutations. If you're new to the channel, subscribe. We post Warhammer 40K content every single day, and if you have any suggestions for topics, just comment down below and share this with your friends if you can. But with that said, let's get into 40 facts on the mutant cults of the Imperium. For those afflicted by mutation, hope is a luxury long since cast aside. It is a constant problem in the Imperium, often the results of toxic manufacturing, byproducts, and ancient radiation hazards deep in the hives. Hivers are taught from birth to hate and shun the mutant, a common decree from the pulpit. They know that mutation is an outright sign of an evil nature, a punishment, and a mark of sin. The touch of chaos and exposure to the warp causes mutations as surely as any toxic hazard. No matter the source, a hiver with a minor mutation might attempt to hide it and go about his life, but always know, even his family would turn on him should they discover the truth. Mutants are common in the Underhive, where dangerous environmental pollutants combine to result in horrifically unstable genes. Entire mutant populations gather and thrive in these dark reaches. Certain manufactorums in the lower high levels, collectively degenerated as blighted factories, tolerate mutants among their workforce. Even by hive standards, these laborers are treated brutally. Within the main hive, mutants must be cautious, as wandering into the wrong hab might get them attacked and burned alive. It is no surprise that many discard their oaths and flee down hive. Isolated in the dark, they often become the flesh-eating monsters that hivers assume them to be. Down in the Underhive, you always have a collection of individuals or cults that center around the mutations of the flesh, such as the Callers of Sorrow, who offer a natural home for mutants whose deformities are an obvious symptom of the hive's decay, and hail them as blessed flesh-bent. Mutants are motivated to join these cults because of the hatred they feel for the hive that persecuted them. Others simply to be amongst like-minded souls and individuals who care not for or even celebrate their mutations. Worse still are those who become mutants in the course of the service of these cults, who are often cults of Nurgle. As cult members partake further in the worship of the Lord of Decay and the rituals of the warp, their flesh rebels at the unnatural influence of the Immaterium. Many cultists view these mutations as blessings from the gods of chaos, and as they pay their respect to the Lord of Decay, the gifts often include withering tentacles, jointed eye stalks, extra heads, bestial features, or crowns of flickering balefire. Some are grotesquely altered creatures, beyond even the horrifics of mutant wretches. With no place in society, it is natural that they flock to the chaos cults. While some retain their minds, at least as much as the servants of chaos can, others are afflicted by madness and mental decay. They are often a great asset to the cult for their ferociousness in battle, but of little use otherwise. Depending on the nature of their physical mutation, such dim-witted or insane creatures might be given a place of respect amongst the cult, known as favored by the Father. Their nonsensical ramblings are taken as prophecy, and they act as advisors to the cult leadership. Some mutants grow to inhuman size, their profane nature marked by impossible masses of muscle and dense flesh. The cults actively seek out these creatures for their sheer physical bulk, their misshapen bodies, a reflection of their pestilent father's corrupted bounty. The mutants known as necrophages are hideous creatures who have taken on diseased and even necrotic appearances. In the most extreme cases, they must even feed on human flesh to sustain their own decaying forms. They are especially favored within cults, who see them as the most blessed of Nurgle's mortal children. The mutants, known to some as Toxers, often thrive amidst the noxious chemical lakes of the dark. These impossible creatures' twisted forms exude blighted chemicals fatal to normal humans, and often house hideous nests of twisted vermin in place of internal organs. Usually found within the highest ranks of these cults are the Psychers, who do not submit to the black ships of the Adeptus Astra Telepathica. They are universally dangerous, for even the least of them can still be the doom of an entire world. Every unprotected mind is a potential gateway through which the demons of the warp can enter reality. Unsanctioned psychers can hope for no peace in the worlds of the Imperium. Eventually their nature is discovered, and they must fight or flee death by fire at the hands of a fearful mob. Some turn to the dark gods, for chaos promises a path to power and perhaps even safety. A cult is one of the few places where rogue psychers are welcomed. The mutant cults in particular seek them out eagerly. From minor warp callers to terrifying warp priests, they often are used in cult rituals to beseech the Plague Father for new blessings to inflict on their foes. It is always a great benefit for a mutant cult to worship chaos. The ruinous powers reward their followers with all manner of gifts. They twist bodies and minds in ways impossible to imagine, perhaps adding acidic saliva, an exoskeleton of red-hot rocks, or leathery wings. To follow the path of chaos is to accept these gifts, no matter what deformities they bring, for at the end, it is the ultimate blessing of an ascension to a demon prince. There is, however, only so much mortal flesh can withstand before sanity and physical control is forever lost. If a mortal is not transformed into a demon, there comes a time when the mutations become overwhelming and he becomes a spawn of chaos. A spawn is a monstrous sight, each a unique, gibbering mass of tissue that should not possibly live, but still does. Powered through the unholy energies of the dark gods, some might have multitudes of oily tentacles, or have grown insectoid eyes, or even sprouted a new face along their body that screams their pain with each emotion. Mutant cults often have small numbers of spawn chained in the lower depths of their strongholds, where they are worshipped as divine revelations of the power of chaos made manifest. Often the spawns are fed with captured enemies, or set loose to cause terror as part of a large cult action. And those were 40 facts on the mutant cults of the Imperium of Man. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. It's interesting whenever we talk about mutants, just because mutants are one of those things that the Imperium absolutely hates. It's kill the witch, the mutant, and the heretic. And a mutant is considered all three, basically. Because you have psychers, who would be considered witches, and then if you have a mutation, then you are somehow bad, so you are automatically a heretic. So I think the mutant class within the Imperium of Man is probably the worst. With that said, it's interesting that the mutant can easily be concealed, because if you look at all the modifications that are found within the Imperium of Man, how could you tell when someone's a mutant and when someone is just like an Adeptus Mechanicus like tech priest, or even just like a regular High Lord? There's so many weird things that you could just say, or there's so many mutations that you could just say, no, it's a modification. So especially when it comes with mutations of the flesh or mutations of size, like if you're a monster, you're huge, you could just say I was genetically mutated to be this way. You could wear armor like the Inquisitors do. So I feel like if you are of wealth and if you are of knowledge within the Imperium of Man and you have a mutation, it's very easy for you to hide it by just saying, no, I am this big because it was a genetic modification or some type of technological modification that made me bigger. There are a lot of Imperial citizens that have what looks like Terminator armor or what looks like Space Marine armor, and it makes them look a lot bigger. Inquisitor Martyr is a perfect example of that. When you look at those trailers, the Inquisitor, the main Inquisitor that you see, not the Astropath, but the guy who's battling the Plague Marines, he's massive. So I think that within the Imperium, as long as you have money, you have prestige and power, it's easy for you to pass off a genetic mutation. So really, it's not when the Imperium says that we need to burn the witch, kill the heretic. It's not that they have to kill the mutant. It's not that they want to kill the mutant. It's kill the individual who's not smart enough to pass off their mutation as a modification, as a technological or as just any other type of modification. In that way, the Imperium is kind of like killing all the dumb people, and really like the mutant is the personification of someone who's dumb. and then they turned to chaos, which I thought was interesting. But yeah, those are my thoughts. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, don't forget to share it with your friends. If you have any suggestions, again, comment down below. We are going to do a 40 facts on the machine spirit. We are going to do a horrible realities on the assassins. There's individuals who are commenting that. We're just working on those videos, and those videos are always changing because we want to make them a little better. So that's why those haven't come out. But yes, we are working on those. Yeah, thanks for everything, guys, and I'll talk to you tomorrow. This was Gersh1 with One Mind Syndicate signing out.
Always used to put my freedom first in any situation.